So welcome everyone to the latest ATA Q&A. So we're doing something slightly different this week. Instead of previous Q&As where the three of us would sort of answer the same question 3 times in a row, we're going to do our own ones now. So the first one is Gage. Good evening.
Hi guys, I'm Gage. I'm one of the co-owners of ATA, and I mainly specialize in the coding side of ATA. I've also done 600,000 in sales on Amazon, and I only started probably 16 months ago.
That's pretty insane, to be honest. Cool. Shall we jump straight into Discord questions? So AU7 asks, can you explain what works best for your business with your VA's bonuses, total spend versus deal per month, or do you combine the two?
So we do it purely on spend, and most people who have VAs use my spend chart that I created probably a year ago. All shared around without my knowledge, unfortunately. Should have charged for it. But I don't do deals per month, mainly because I always tell my VAs, I'd rather you find one brilliant deal a day than 5 okay ones. Because like the real money you make is off that one good deal that's like, no one else has found it. You're making 10 quid a unit. Those are the ones I'd rather than find. You could combine the two, but again, the more deals they have, the more work it is for you. So you'd rather them find one good deal and you spend 5 minutes than 5 okay deals and you have to spend 25 minutes.
Yeah, it makes sense. And also, do you give your purchaser any kind of bonus?
I guess I have a slightly different structure to maybe other people, is that I have a manager who is not my purchaser. And then I have a purchaser who is also a sourcer. So I've raised my base salary for the purchaser / sourcer, and I also offer her the sourcing bonus. So I don't give a purchaser any purchasing bonus.
Makes sense. I'm just going to skip a question, and I'll come back to it, staying on the VA purchasing salary type thing. James Dean, when promoting a sourcing VA to do admin / purchasing, do you up their salary and or alter the bonus scheme? And how do you get around the text verification code sent to your phone when your VA is purchasing?
Promoting a sourcing VA to do admins as purchasing, do you up their salary? Okay, yeah. So I go from a 25 to a 30. However, I went to a 25 to 27.50 for my purchaser / sourcer because she only purchases for 2 hours a day, and then the rest is spent sourcing. So that's why she didn't get the full 5K upgrade. And for the text verifications, we don't get around it. I just have to be on my phone all the time, and I just shoot the codes over. It's not that difficult. It's something that I'm sure I could automate it. But as soon as you start automating that or you take it away, your safety net of if someone nicks your card or if they just go rogue, you lose that. So it's something I've chosen just to stick with.
Oh, makes sense. Right, let's go back to Arrow. Where's a good place to start in learning to scrape sites for restocks and stock monitors and stuff like that?
So for people who don't know what scraping is, it's really what I specialize in is web scraping. It's the process of taking information from a website using automation. So we want to trick the website into thinking that we are a human, not a robot, and using that, extract important information from the website. A good place to start learning that is Google, unfortunately. It's such a bad answer, but just Googling it. And I would say having some basic code knowledge in anything helps. So you can go to free code academy, which is a good one, and just learn a bit of HTML for half an hour. And even though it's not the language that you'll use to scrape sites in, just having the knowledge of the logic, because once you know the logic, like you just Google the answers.
Got a question that's probably in addition to what James put a minute ago that I kind of want to know the answer to myself, Gage. How did you share your bank details with Roy initially? As in, did you give it to him over voice call, or did you send it to him on text? Or because obviously, I'm sure everyone kind of wants to know how you communicated that, I guess.
So before I say anything, I don't want people to take my advice on this, because it's not like financial code, whatever. But I just sent him my card details on Discord through text, and like the reason is because I'm from the sneaker community, and we are so blasé about our card details. Like we do not give a fuck who has our card details. It's such a weird thing. I remember one time, like I gave my card details to this guy, and the ticket system in the server broke. Like 500 people got 7 of my cards. Like it's absolutely wild. So I would probably recommend like having write it down on a piece of paper or something just in case one Discord gets hacked. But no, I just sent it to him over text. I didn't even delete the message. It's still there.
Okay.
And do you have a separate bank you use for the VAs? Charlie's just asked. Another Charlie.
Oh, did I?
I tell them to use my Amex, mainly because if there's any fraudulent charges or a website is dodgy, Amex will do the job and just give you back the money straight away. And then I also use my Tide account, which I have the highest membership for, just so if I ever did run into any problems, I don't have to wait 4 hours for a phone call. They give me a dedicated account manager, and then I just literally like one ring and I can have the charges reverted.
Sounds good. Cool. Trish Flips asks, how did your VAs learn to source? Was it via the same sourcing videos Charlie made, or do you have your own method?
So I got my VAs from Fast Track ages and ages ago, and I mean they had a decent knowledge. I was lucky I got Roy firsthand, who had a year's experience, so I didn't need to teach him anything. But I have given my VAs 2 things, and it's Gavin Sweeney's Keeper course and Charlie's Keeper sourcing videos is genuinely the only 2 things I give to my VAs about sourcing. And you know that's helped them a bunch. Yeah, really, really helpful.
Cool. And how do you prevent your VAs from overlapping when sourcing? Do they have a daily stand-up where each one decides which sites or categories to source from?
Yeah, this is a good question actually. So at the start of every day, each VA has to fill out a daily plan. So on this daily plan, we have one column that's 1 to 8, and then their plan, and then their actual activity. So they have to fill in at the start of the day the plan for every single hour of their day. The reason we do this is 1, so no one's overlapping sites, because it's public, they can see what other VAs are doing. And so I like to think it keeps them mindful of what they're doing. You know, I don't want a VA spending 3 hours on a site just because like they zone out and now they're just lost and they haven't found anything. I want them to be mindful of their time. And then at the end of the day, they fill in their actual activities for those 8 hours. Most of the time it lines up, but not all the time, because you know one site might be really, really good and they want to stick on it for a bit longer.
Cool, makes sense. And if there's like a really good sale on a particular site, do you scrap that rule and say, oh, okay, I want everyone to focus on this because there's a massive sale on or something?
That is exactly it, but it won't be me saying it, it'll be Roy.
Cool, makes sense. So yeah, the secret is basically get a Roy and then all your problems are solved, it seems.
Yeah, I'd have to be a lot more with it if I didn't have Roy, for sure.
He's definitely worth his weight in gold. Wardy FBA, what sort of funds would you recommend before getting a VA?
At least 6,000. Any less, you might be putting yourself in capital issues. And even 6K is on the boundary. Like I want you to have 6K in cash, really, by the time you get the VA in. Because otherwise, as soon as you don't have cash to buy your VA deals, you're losing so much expected value from your VA, and you still have to pay their salary.
Yep, agreed. And yeah, before Christmas, we were sort of it was all 4 to 5 grand, but yeah, I think probably the extra grand is probably required, I would say, because yeah, of Amazon's slow turnaround time for money, and if you get stuck with stock and things like that. Cool, Jules. What's been your biggest challenge or issue in getting to £500,000 plus in sales?
Biggest issue, I guess it's probably people. So VAs, right? You can have a really good VA and they can leave, personal issues, or they want to get another job. I've had a VA quit on the first day. I've had a VA leave me yesterday or 2 days ago. You know, if you could have the same team that you had like on day one, 12 months down the line, they would be incredibly good because they've got 12 months of experience. But you'll find like, you know, they'll stick with you for 3 months and then they want to do something else, or they have a family emergency, whatever. If I just had the same people I had from the day of hiring them now, I'd have a magnificently better team.
That makes sense. Cool. Back to the coding stuff. So Sam Lav asked, where did you learn to code? Looking at the free Code Academy courses, which I think you just mentioned, and then something more in depth once I've learned the basics.
So where did I learn to code? So I did computer science at school for GCSE and A level, but really what was really good about that is it teaches you logic and what we call decomposition. So you look at a problem and you try and break it down into as many parts as possible. And I think I bring that into anything I do in life. I try and look at the problem and break it down into as many smaller problems as possible and then start tackling it. At school, you know, we don't actually learn much code. It's more just thinking about things. And when you're coding, you can't just code. You can't just go onto Google and type how to code restock monitor for Smiths. You can't, like, it's not there. You have to think, what are my individual parts of this module, and how am I going to solve each one? So before I start any project, I will put down each one of my steps that I'm going to do and how much time it's going to take me. And then from that, you can even break it down even further into sub parts, and those types of things will be Googleable, like how to set the time or how to launch a browser in Python, stuff like that. And yeah, do the free Code Academy courses. Doesn't even matter what language you do it. Just get coding experience so you can begin to think like a programmer. You can have that logic, and then the rest is pretty simple.
Cool. And just to follow on from that, from E-Trade, which language and/or software do you code in?
For ATA, pretty much everything's done in Python. I have done some JavaScript stuff in the past to make Google Chrome extensions, but Python's by far my favorite language.
Is that because it's the easiest, or because you can do the most cool shit with?
Python is really user-friendly. Like, it's probably the most user-friendly code, like, language out there. It's not that harsh. You know, with JavaScript, you've got to do like 7 million curly brackets and square brackets, and if the curly bracket's in the wrong place, you know, nothing fucking works. So yeah, Python, you don't have that. Not like, the syntax is really easy for Python.
And what's the thing that you've coded that you're the proudest of?
So during the first lockdown, I decided I was going to code a sneaker bot, and I wrote like 12,000 lines of code, and I ended up not releasing it because I didn't think it was good enough. But that is probably my proudest thing. And, you know, although I didn't make any money from it, I'm so glad I did it, because it puts me in the position where I can do all these cool things in ATA. Like, I learned an unbelievable amount because I just sat down for like 8 hours every day during the first lockdown. I would just go for a walk in the morning, come back, and I just code. And I loved it. And I learned so fucking much.
So did you use this sneaker bot or
Yeah.
was it-
Obviously I used it and I gave
Mm.
it to some friends, but yeah, I never charged anyone for it.
Fair play. That sounds cool. Cool. Back to Amazon. So yeah, Sam Lab's second question. Your VAs tend to find higher value products when sourcing. Is this because you've instructed them to do so, or is it just what they find easiest?
I guess it's for a few reasons. So first is I'm VAT registered. Second is I want a minimum of £3 profit, but only 15% ROI, meaning, low profit deals that maybe are £1.50 profit, but 100% ROI, I'm not looking at. I want a minimum of 3. Therefore, it's much easier from a criteria perspective to find something that's £3 profit and 15% ROI. Then also they're going to be drawn towards high value products because we give them the spend bonus. They want to find £40, £50 items because like £5 items aren't going to hit the bonus. I did do a bit of analysis and I found my average sale price of an item on Amazon is £40. That's like much higher than people like Gavin's who have, I think it was like £18.
Cool, makes sense. Jules asks, one thing about you, Ben and Shah, that no one else will know.
So we'll start with me. Something that no one knows. Oh, this is actually one that no one knows. I'm not lying. So my first company called Blank Proxies. We were on a sneaker podcast once, and they asked us, "Why did you call it Blank Proxies?" And I lied. Right? I lied. It wasn't the real answer. The real answer is because I was watching an anime when I was 15 years old, and the cool people in it, like the heroes, their name was just like an open square bracket and a closed square bracket, and then they were called Blank. So then I called it Blank. That's why. Yeah.
And what was the made up reason that you made for this?
It was something like, blank can be anywhere, so like it's like fast and shit like that. I just like made it up on the spot. It was terrible, but yeah, that's the real. Because I didn't want to get roasted by in the sneaker community for it, so that's why. And then Ben says he doesn't smoke, but if you see him on the meetup, he is like a fucking chimney. And then Charlie needs to learn to turn his phone off during a night out, because otherwise he'll end up 3 a.m. at the kebab shop, waking someone up.
Shout. I think you've navigated that tricky question pretty well. Green Rivers asks, apart from hiring VAs, what would you say has been instrumental in scaling your business towards 100K plus months? Any particular processes or systems?
Instrumental in scaling your business. So first, having a purchasing manager, it's key. If you're going to be doing huge volume, you can't do all the purchasing yourself. And if you are, then you won't have time to think about other things potentially that might come up. Potential future strategies. I do find it funny, the processes question. Like, we all have a big secret of what we do. It's like VA comes, have a purchasing manager, gets shipped to a prep center, and it gets shipped to Amazon. There's no fancy process in any of that, right? There may be a few little things that people do differently, but at the end of the day, it's just the same system scaled up. Instrumental is quite a crazy word. The reason I can do such volume is because I have cash. I promise, like, I don't have a real secret for you guys. It's just the same process that we all do, just bigger.
Cool, good answer. Aoife asks, how much capital do you allocate to items you're looking to hold for more than 3 months?
A fun little fact from Aoife is he's my in real life friend. And he messaged me saying, can I put something offensive in the Q&A questions? And I said, no. So this was his backup good question. And so how much capital do you allocate to items that you're looking to hold for more than 3 months? It's a tricky question, and it depends on what my current spend rate is. You know, how much am I spending per month? And then I can work out from there how much capital I have left over to spend on things I want to hold. Personally, I'm kind of against even putting like 10% of stuff for 3 months to hold, because I'm confident enough in my team that we can just flip shit for 3 months and get a higher ROI and not have to take that risk. And also, I used to live with my mom, and she had a big garage. You know, I have a garage now, but it's pretty small. I'm not going to be able to store 50 pulls in my garage. Just no way. So yeah, there's another reason for me not holding stuff for 3 months.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think so many of us on the call tonight and listening will have fallen into the trap of like buying and holding Lego. Obviously, yeah, you're going to get far better ROI turning that money over and over in the time that it takes to hold it. And obviously, Charlie and Matt Lou and others were completely stitched up in Q4 with Amazon's restock limits due to IPI scores. So yeah, you're better off just turning money over and over and over as quickly as you can. That's advice to any newbies listening. And yeah, that's some quite a good question for any newbies listening. Wardy FBA, if you go back to the start, you've got 3 to 5 grand startup. What the first steps you would take, knowing what you know now?
I would retail arbitrage 3 times a week for the first 2 months, without a doubt. The reason is you know, you're going to have limited knowledge of online. Online's quite difficult to navigate. I think a lot of newbies first go to Boots, and you know, the listings get tanked. You might get a bad taste in your mouth because the listing's gone down. You might just quit. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. I would go to retail because retail isn't difficult. It's just physical and a little bit time consuming. If you just go around B&M and Home Bargains scanning shit for 1.5 hours, you're gonna have scanned 90% of the stuff in the store, and you'll have like 6 or 7 different items, varying quantities of such, and you'll just be able to rinse that, because you'll find that the stuff that you're sending in retail, the price doesn't really change on it because there's not a lot of people doing retail. Like, that's the truth of it. So you'll get these 6 or 7 products, and you'll just be able to replenish them infinitely. If you get a hookup with a manager at a store, I would just be super nice. And if you're going there 3 times a week, you're going to see the same people over and over and over again, and they're going to know you as that guy who bought 20 pans that one time. You're going to know you as pan guy. And then all you need to do is go in and go, oh, you've got any more pans? And they go, oh, you bought it all, but maybe I can ask you, my manager. And then as soon as that happens, you can get the manager link. And I would just rinse my 5K over and over again with the manager link. Call up the manager, go, I want this, this, and this quantity. Pick it up in the car. Simple. Once I have a little bit more cash, maybe 6 or 7 grand, I get the VA. Any spare cash, I'm still retailing. Like, I would do as much retail as you can because so much easier. And yeah, I would rinse that until I have 2 VAs, and I could, if I didn't like doing retail anymore, I'd stop and just go with my 2 VAs.
No, that's a really interesting answer. And obviously you're the only person in the UK who can click and collect at B&M.
Yeah.
Because you've got that connect with the manager. Cool. So Pete Noob Investor asked the question on the tip of all of our tongues. What layout do you have for your cutlery drawer at home? the winner is obviously knives, forks, spoons, but just interested.
You know, I actually took a picture. Because I read the question, and the answer is I have spoons, forks, knives, and spoons. You
Double
heard that right.
spooning.
2 spoon draws because I have that many spoons. There we are.
Wow, that is intriguing.
Make of that as you will.
And
Lesson
yeah,
in there.
but please share the photo in ATA as well. We'd hate for it to go to waste.
Yeah, I might tweet that and then just put lesson in there. That would be a money Twitter thing to do.
Yeah, perfect. TG asks, at what point did you realize it was time to hire VAs / prep center, and what were your personal sourcing sales figures at the time?
So I guess my answer for this probably isn't very helpful because when I started, we were in printer season and things just aren't the same as they are now. You know, we were just buying, 3, 4 SKUs and just rinsing them constantly. But I got a VA after I'd done like 60K in sales, I think. And the same with the prep center, like 60K. I was prepping, well, me and my girlfriend were prepping everything ourselves. In one day, I packed over 100 boxes, maybe 200 boxes in one day we were doing. So, I mean, it's possible, but I actually, I had to get the prep center because packing boxes genuinely made me want to kill myself. It was so depressing spending like 4 or 5 hours and me and my girlfriend was like 10 man hours of just like boxing shit every day. I didn't want to do it.
Fair play. And how was your initial experience with your first VA, and how quickly did that help to grow your Amazon business? Were the benefits seen immediately, or did it take time for the VA to settle, etc.?
Do I have to say this at the start of every question? Is my experience is definitely going to be different to yours. So my first VA was Roy, and he came with 12 months experience. He was fantastic. He knew exactly what to do, and I saw results, day one. I knew from speaking to him that he was a well fountain of knowledge, and on his first day, like I really didn't want him to be in any. I didn't want to put a box around him, so I was literally like, take your knowledge that you already have, and just do that. I don't want to give you any categories. I don't, just do what you did, just with my criteria.
Mhm.
And he did, and he was brilliant, and he ended up being a manager because after 2 months I hired 2 more VAs, and he was the manager, and 2 of the others were sources.
Makes sense. And so what would your advice be to someone who hires a VA who has no experience and maybe only finds a couple of deals a day for the first couple of weeks?
So I'll give a little antidote from a recent experience I had. Is I recently brought on 2 new hires, and Roy found them himself through his network, and both of them had experience, at least 3 months experience. I kept one on for a whole month, and she was finding 1 deal a day max, right, for a whole month. And I didn't want to give up on her, but if someone is really terrible for a whole month, you have to get rid. My kind of smell test is I would like a VA to pay for themselves or be a little bit under in the first month. If they don't even pay them for themselves in the first month, which I don't think is that tricky, as long as you have the capital, then it's worth keeping them on, even if they just break even, because they have that will to learn. Also, enthusiasm is a huge one. It's like you can tell by speaking to someone if they're passionate about pursuing something or if they're not. And like I could speak to her and she was, softly spoken, and yeah. Meanwhile, if you speak to Roy or something, he's loud. He wants to learn more. Also, something I have to say is if your VA is finding deals, but like let's say she found 5 deals and 4 of them were bad and 1 of them were good, I would also ask yourself, am I the reason why she's only finding one good deal? Are those 5 deals actually buyable and I'm just being too strict? So I do a lot of coaching calls, and where I really focus my attention is a lot of people leave money on the table. So like a VA will find 5 deals and they'll mark 2 as good, but really maybe 4 are good. So the problem might actually be with you and not with the VA.
That's yeah, food for thought. Sean C, what were your most profitable sourcing methods before you had VAs?
I have to say, I'm not going to say it. So before I had VAs, I knew in the Amazon space there weren't many coders. So I went to Gavin Sweeney and I said, look, mate, I can code and you can source. You provide me leads, I'll code you cool things. And that's basically how I found all my leads. Seriously. And like Ben will remember, I had a small little group that I used to charge people like 50 quid a month to be in, and we'd have loads of printer monitors. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why I only charged £50, because people were literally making thousands a week from my fucking monitors. And one guy, actually not even one guy, I think 3 people left when I made the price £50 before it was free. And I was just thinking, like, if you buy one printer, you make £50, and people left. Isn't that insane?
Name and shame.
I don't even think about them. So I guess a little bit of sourcing that I used to do was storefronts. I would love just copying other Amazon stores, because that's you know people are already selling the product. You know they can get it somewhere. You know you can get it somewhere. I wouldn't recommend doing that right now though, because mainly storefront stalking is bad in January and February, because people have got items on sale from December and early Jan. And now in late Jan and February, there's no sales. So you're trying to find items that were on sale that aren't anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, Owen's just dropped a message in the Zoom chat, sort of following on from this. So do you recommend a level of sourcing experience before hiring a VA, or do you just need capital and keeper knowledge, considering your view on doing RA, since it's a lot easier initially? So do you need sourcing experience before hiring a VA?
I didn't. And I think you definitely need a little bit just to understand what your VA might be going through. But as long as you're prepared, like if you're an ATA, right, Charlie has a suite of videos of sourcing. You don't even have to watch them. Just send them to your VA, right? And they'll learn mountains of knowledge just from that. And it doesn't have to come from you. You have a library of things. That's what I do. I send them Charlie's videos and I send them Gavin's keeper course, and that's it. And the keeper knowledge has to be there. Like, you can't hire a VA without keeper knowledge.
Yeah, very much the blind leading the blind if you do so. So top 3 favorite sourcing techniques. I think you've mentioned storefront.
Storefront, keeper, manual/newsletter.
Expand on newsletter. Is that as simple as it sounds?
So just seeing when there's a sale, and then all my VAs manually jumping on it.
Cool, makes sense. So Liam asks, what age did you start coding? Did you self-teach, or have you done this in school, college?
So, I mean, I did it in school. I think everyone does it in school when they're like 11 years old, right? So I could say I started when I was 11, but I didn't actually properly code anything at home. Oh, I did. I used to code Minecraft hacks. Oh, Christ. Oh, how old was I when I coded I might have been 12 when I was coding Minecraft hacks. And me and my friend put it on a website called Gage the PC Guide.xyz, where you could download our Minecraft hack. And we used to post homework answers on there as well. So yeah, I guess 12.
Oh, if only Gumroad was around then, you'd have made an absolute killing. Homework and Minecraft hacks.
We genuinely coded Minecraft hacks and would use them.
Can you still use them now, or because Minecraft's still a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been many version updates. I'm sure I could have a go at it now, but I don't have access to my old hacked client, the Gage the PC guy hacked client.
Funny. What was your sneaker company called?
Called Blank Proxies. We had almost 35,000 followers on Twitter, and we're doing like 600,000 in revenue a year.
Cool. Did you do a lot of manual sourcing at the beginning, or get VAs straight away?
I'm sure Gavin did a lot of manual sourcing. I just leveraged knowing how to code.
Cool. Pete, new investor, what would you do if Amazon suspended you for 6 months tomorrow?
Good question. So I do have a few different sources of income. So I have ATA, which even if I was suspended on Amazon, I could be a part owner in ATA. I also do mentoring. I could also do freelance coding. Because web scraping is always pretty in demand, and I'm sure if I put something up on Freelancer or something, I could do some odd jobs, which I did during the first or second lockdown. I used to make random Discord bots for people on Fiverr for very little money for some reason, just because I liked it. I also recently, me, Ben, and my friend from school, Alex, opened a prep center. So we prep stuff for people, and that makes money. So that's another income stream. Although we only opened 2 weeks ago, so it's a quite a new stream.
Yeah, the secret's out.
Yeah. Oh God. If you want in the prep center, guys, listener exclusive. I'm not going to post it in the group. Just DM me and I'll send you some pricing. But it's handled very well. We've got everything out same day or next day every time, so it's nice. Yeah. So moral of the story for that question, Pete, is I have a few different sources of income, and I also own my house in full. I don't pay for any of my groceries because they're all cash back. I live on next to no money, and as long as I have two hands, like I could do 2 coding jobs a month and just live for the rest of my life.
Are you? I've seen a few people on Twitter say that. I think it might have been SassWiz or something, who's like probably the biggest sort of coding account in money Twitter. I think he's said that some sort of software and coder guys just take on like 5 remote salaried jobs and just do, like, obviously you can't do 5 jobs, but you'll have 5 jobs paying you for 3 months until they realize that you're not doing any work. So yeah, you could just take 5 salaries at once if you wanted to.
Yeah, I saw this news video recently, and there's people who have 2 computers for their 2 jobs, and they just spend 2 hours a day on each of them, and they just turn up to the meetings, and like that's it. And just the idea is you just do the bare minimum. And with something like programming, no one fucking understands how long something takes, right? Yeah, someone can tell you something, and you just pull out your ass. 3 months, and if you're going to spend 2 hours a day on it, it's probably going to take 3 months.
Interesting. So back to Arrow. If you had time to script one thing to improve your business right now, what would it be?
So for anyone who doesn't know script, he probably means code one thing to improve your business. So I've thought about a lot about coding checkout scripts for websites. So all you need to do is just send a link to a Discord bot, and then it would automatically check out the item with the amount, with the quantity. And sure, it would save a lot of time, but like the time I would need to code that for every single website would probably be far greater than the time saved for at least 6 months. So yeah, if I could like snap my fingers and that was made, I would definitely do that.
Cool. Yeah, the potential future ATA perk, perhaps. We shall see. Right. Flippin' Heck asks, where do you see yourself / your business 5 to 10 years from now?
I hate this question. I always hate the 5 years, the 10 years. Where do you think Amazon's going to be? Do you think it's going to get saturated? The reason I don't like these questions is I don't know. And through many sessions of practicing to be mindful, I try my best to live in the moment. You know, I used to be quite a big worrier when I had my last company of like what's going to happen on the weekend when the sneaker drops, and now I just live in the present, and when stuff comes I handle it. If like I said before, you know, I have my two hands, and I that's it, that's all I need. Doesn't matter in 5 years.
Cool. Macadeer 94. Do you have any future roadmap plans for the ultimate deal sheet you can share?
So we haven't worked on anything new yet because we've had so many setup calls, and honestly, I don't know if Liam is here or listening to this, but Liam, you are the main reason why we're not doing any updates, because he's broken his sheet 3 times now. Right? I don't even know how that's possible, right? Roy sent me a message the other day and he's like, Gage, I don't even know how Liam's messed this up. None of the calculations are working. I don't know. Like, we had to give him a brand new sheet. So Liam, if you stop breaking stuff, we can work on the next things. But the next thing in mind is a STK importer. So you can update your cogs through the sheet.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Cool. Green Rivers, are you selling on Amazon US yet? If not, any plans to?
Amazon US. So I have sold about £1,000 worth of stuff on Amazon US. However, I've done it through a UK limited company. And the bad thing about that is 90% of my orders get cancelled because my billing address is in the UK and not in the US. So I should have my US LLC set up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully if everything goes well. And then I will start on Amazon US. I'm planning to move a VA to the US and then you know, start rolling stuff in, because I've set up, like, everything's set up there. I have the prep center ready to go, have the account, I have loads of ungates. I just need the LLC and then I'm sorted.
Cool. And Kadir again, what are your biggest tips for managing cash flow? Do you have any particular strategies you stick by?
Biggest hack for cash flow is have some credit. Now, you don't want to over leverage yourself, but let's say you have 10 grand to work with. If you need to spend 11 grand and then you can pay it back, you know, next week, then that's fine. If you're always, I just want like a little buffer at the end of my cash flow for credit. And that way, managing cash flow becomes a lot easier. It is, if you're tracking your spend every week, which I'd recommend everyone to do, then you can tell how many weeks left you have until you don't have any money. And I'd want 4 weeks, 4 weeks of money. That's how I'd manage my cash flow. I guess that works better if your spend is relatively the same each month. Once you have VAs, it should be relatively the same. But if you're doing it yourself, I get why that might be more difficult. And if it's really random, you can't manage your cash flow.
Cool. Arrow asks, any plans for private label yet?
You know what, Arrow? I bought a fucking course. I haven't even opened it. But the guy was like, "Oh, I'm giving all the proceeds today to a dog shelter."
Oh,
So I just bought it. You know.
I hope he provided proof, because otherwise that's pretty shady.
and you know what really disappointed me is I did open it. I haven't watched any of it, but it's one fucking 3-hour video.
No.
Now, how do you want me to consume that? You know, I can't sit here for 3 hours. Look, Arrow bought that one as well. If anyone's bought my course, if you're in ATA, I wouldn't recommend buying my course. But I split all of my videos into like less than 10-minute chunks, because that's what people genuinely want to consume is 10-minute chunks max, not 3 hours. I saw the 3 hours and I was like, fuck it, I'm never opening this. No, the dogs can enjoy their food.
Refund, please, sir. Do you have a separate bank that usually varies? We've already done that one. I asked it when it was asked. Have you ever been part of any other reselling groups, pros and cons?
Yeah, well, when I was in the sneaker community, I was pretty much in every reselling group, and I've shown Ben and Charlie how long my server list is on Discord. Like I have close to 100 servers on it. So it helped a lot when coming into ATA because we brought a lot of aspects from other groups, like the best parts of groups, and chucked them in ATA. The pros and cons of reselling groups are: cons, you pay money every month. Pros is hopefully they're good enough to at least make you back your money and you gain knowledge. I would say if you're not making 69 quid from ATA, from the Raffle bot, the Amazon to Amazon leads, or the stock monitors, you're just doing something wrong. Really. There's no ways you could claim your free reward of 5 times entries and free auto entry for a day. You probably win like 5 or 6, and that's probably going to pay your £69 monthly fee alone before you've even touched the stock monitors or the Amazon to Amazon flips. And I'd make 69 quid and then consume all the knowledge you can on videos like these, Charlie's videos. We even have videos with the owner of Seller Toolkit and the owner of Seller Amp. Even Thomas Parkinson.
Thomas the Tank.
Yes. That is a beautiful name for him. I didn't even get that first time around. Thomas the Tank. That should be his name.
Yeah, it wasn't me who came up with that, even though it's something I would come up with. It's brilliant, and yeah, we need to make it stick. Anyway, so to what store did you find to be the most successful when starting out with retail arbitrage?
Okay, so what store did you find to be most successful in starting out with retail arbitrage? B&M and Home Bargains, definitely. They're really the only two that are time effective to look at. You can find stuff in B&Q, but going into B&Q, there's like 100,000 items. You're not going to be able to scan them all. It's not going to be time effective.
Cool. And looks like Charlie AIO is a fellow coder, and he found copying code from GitHub and learning how each part works was very successful when starting out. Have you used GitHub?
I think every programmer's nicked some stuff on GitHub. GitHub's just where programmers can post their code, post their programs, and you can actually see the code behind it. It's called open source. I've shamelessly stolen stuff from GitHub before, so don't worry about it.
That sounds good. Going back to your VA's bonus, do you give them access to your spend sheet?
So yes. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, nothing to hide. And so yeah, I've only got 2 at the moment, 2 more coming on board soon. But yeah, mine absolutely love the competition of trying to get the highest bonus over the other one. And one of mine was off sick with COVID a couple of weeks ago, and she still wanted. She was like, "Oh, I want to work because I want to get the highest and get the bonus and things." And yeah, so it can create a healthy competition within your team if you have more than one VA, I would say. So do you have a VA who always comes out on top, or
yeah, pretty much. Paolo always comes out on top, and I think it's nice for them to have access to the sheet because let's say they're on 5,000 spend and they have a few days left, they're going to push really hard to get to 6,000.
No, fair play. Jalpesh asked Ben, where are your beers? I'm having a few Stellas tonight, thank you. Although I'm on a bit of a health kick. You can actually see I've got a jaw this week. I've been on a bit of a cut recently, so I'm looking forward to losing all that and yeah, losing all my gains this weekend in London. Hope you're joining us. But yeah, I'm trying to get healthy now. I'm in my mid-30s, having a midlife crisis. So, BRV Travel, you came to reselling from a 7-figure business with a colleague. So how much capital did you have to start with, and how fast do you think you could get to where you are now if starting with nothing?
So I had enough money where I didn't have to think about capital. I mean, just to put it in perspective, I had so much cash that I think Studio, that website, owed me 6 grand, and I didn't know for a whole year. And they sent me a letter telling me that they owed me 6 grand.
That's a nice letter to receive.
Yeah, yeah. And I would never have known.
What did they 6 grand for?
Printer refunds that they never gave me. Then how fast do you think you'd get there? You think you could get where you are now if starting with 0? I'd never get there if I had £0 because I'd be unable to buy anything.
Well,
But
you could find stuff around your house, stick it on Facebook Marketplace to build up a bank. Where's your
yeah,
hustle? Where's your hustle gone?
if I had £0, I wouldn't do this. I would code some stuff, make some money, and if we rephrase it to £1,000, I think it's hard to project 600,000 in sales starting with 1,000. I couldn't tell you how long that would take. I could tell you if you hustled really hard, you could have £1,000 and you could probably do like 5-6 grand in sales in your first 3 months. I think that's entirely possible. But you got to hustle.
Absolutely. And what do you teach in your mentoring?
So I do 2 types. I do like a full-time mentoring where we do 2 calls a week for 12 weeks. And then basically we just go through everything that I want them to learn for them to be ready to make a grand profit a week. On the flip side, I also do hour calls, which are very much, what do you want to learn? And I will help you with that. If you have any problems, I will help your bottleneck. So the difference is like, I just tell you what to do in one of them and you tell me, and the other one, you tell me what you want me to do.
Cool. Claudio P, we may have covered this. Which coding language do you know? Any specific ones you'd recommend to start with?
So I know Python, JavaScript. I'd say a very light knowledge of HTML. And what would you recommend with? Depends what you want to do, but Python's very friendly. I certainly wouldn't start with JavaScript.
Okay. That was all literally a different language to me, so I will move on. Louis asks, are you looking for any more devs?
I was a little bit shocked when I saw him in the group because I didn't realize Lou was in the group because he's a fellow proxy owner.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea he was in the group, and I was speaking to him recently, so I'm a little bit annoyed. Tell me. No, we're not, Louis. Otherwise, you'd put me out of a job. I don't think Louis a developer though. I think he has a minion who does it for him.
oh, he's typing.
No, I didn't realize he was in the call. I'm so sorry. I scanned through. I didn't see a Louis. What was his name on Zoom? Oh, fuck.
So while you're waiting for Lou's response, how much can you buy from Boots daily?
Laughing, crying face emoji. I don't really buy from Boots. To be completely honest with you, I don't really like my VAs finding Boots deals. I will occasionally buy from Boots, and I know max limit I like to order is 6 per item, and I think like a 6 item with 3 different items works fine usually.
Cool. So yeah, now we're just waiting for Louis' response. Been typing a while now.
Just, oh, sorry, Ben.
No,
just on Charlie AIO's question about not receiving any raffle wins for the last 2 weeks, can everyone just make sure that they have your settings on Discord to set to receiving DMs from people outside of your friends? Charlie, I've just tried to message you and it comes up that the message has been rejected. So the Discord bot wouldn't actually send you a message. That's why you've not been winning. So just, if you don't mind, mate, just go onto your settings. There's a section somewhere. I think Ben's more clued up on where this is.
Privacy and safety.
That's
Yeah,
the one.
that's it.
And then
And-
allow direct messages from server members.
Yeah, and just, this is a very important point for everyone really on the call. Just ensure that you have that switched on. Otherwise, the Discord bot's not going to be able to message you anything because it will just reject the message. And not only that, it breaks the loop in the Raffle bot. So as soon as it rejects, let's say for example, it's landed on Charlie or anyone in this instance, it will bounce off and it will stop. Is that correct, Gage?
Yeah,
It'll
that is
stop, yeah.
completely right.
So is there a way I can only allow the Raffle bot to send messages, get a lot of Discord spam? That's probably one for you, Gage.
Unfortunately, you can't because bots can't have friends. So
that's sad.
Yeah, it's a sad life for bots. So you would have to enable it. And honestly, it broke my heart when Charlie said he couldn't send you the DM because I would see the bot logs from time to time. I like to look through them just in case there's any errors. And like I do see the times like, oh, it tried to DM, but it wasn't allowed. And it's quite frequent actually. So if you haven't won for weeks on end, it is definitely because you haven't you don't have your DMs enabled.
Yeah, we would fully expect everyone to be winning every week, not every 3 weeks. I mean, you should be winning at least one a day, really. Let's face it. Now we've got the way that the new raffle system's geared and set up, you should be winning probably one a day, or at a minimum one every 2 days at least. So yeah, just make sure that everyone has got that checked off on your settings.
Absolutely, and send the screenshots.
You know, I might actually be able to check how many he's missed. I'm not sure if I track the missed ones, but let me see.
Does he want to know? Yes, that is it. Allow direct messages from server members.
Oh, a quick look. And Louis said, haha, I dabble now and again. You know me, Gage. I'm always around. That scares me a little bit because he is from the north.
That is scary enough without the bot thing. Which software do I need to learn to make Discord bots?
You just need, well, you can either do it in Python or Java. I do it all in Python. You don't need any software to code Discord bots. You could watch a tutorial and have a Discord bot up in 15 minutes.
Oh, you're doing yourself out of a job, Gage.
Yeah. It's
gonna
really
find someone
easy to do that,
cheaper.
guys. 15 minutes. That's all it takes.
Does the raffle bot penalize if you've won on the day already?
No. What the whole idea behind the raffle bot is we want to encourage people to get on the server and be active. That's why it took us so long to implement an auto entry, because in our mind that really defeated the point of having the raffle bot. We want people to come on, have a little chat, and then leave and come on for the next raffle bot. But I think we did a good job with the auto entries just because it's only 72 hours once a month.
And having them in bulk as well, rather than every sort of 20 minutes throughout the day. Apologies for people who have been sacked from their jobs for keep going on Rafflebot throughout the day, but hopefully yeah, we've improved that now, because it's like, yeah, people just want leads, but we don't want to just be a lead service. It's been a difficult, where there's been lots of debate in ATA HQ about all this, but we hope that we've come to a decent compromise that works for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's taken months and months to get to this point where we, as kind of staff, have come to a decision that we kind of, well, we're at a happy compromise now. Let's face it. It took us a long time to come around to the idea of basically letting people just check off the server and then come back on for raffles and then check off again. Which, as I think Gage mentioned, we kind of didn't want to be that. We want a community-based environment for people to learn. And when you kind of just hand everything to someone on a plate, essentially, because that's what it is, let's face it, you're handing leads, then you're chipping off the server. And I appreciate everyone is busy, but it kind of defeats the whole object of what we're trying to offer as a service. We want a community-based server. So I think now we're at a happy compromise for everyone, I think, and it's only just going to get better from here as we start to improve the VAs that we've already got. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, yeah, if product saturation wasn't an issue, we'd have all these leads out to everyone. But of course, if you send a no A lead to 500 people, we all know what's going to happen to the price. So this is our sort of way around it, and allows us to grow the group without detracting from the experience that our members get. And yeah, I see Owen said that he's won 5 raffles in the last 2 days without any boosts, and he missed a few entries as well. That might be because half of ATA have got DMs switched off from. So yeah, that might reduce from people listening to this, but yeah, it's definitely a good way of getting product leads, but knowing that 100 people aren't going to jump on them. And you can make a few quid just taking the Rafflebot leads at face value, but you can do so well from, if it's a product or a brand you've never seen before, or a website you've never seen before, have a look around, because there's going to be other profitable items that you can sort of go down the rabbit hole and look at. And also, but one really good bit of advice is that obviously, you know, that at the moment every raffle is going to 6 or 7 members. Obviously, some people, newer members especially, may not be even set up on Amazon. So I think for each sort of raffle bot, if it's decent profit, you probably expect maybe 4 or 5 people to buy it. But you can go back through your Rafflebot leads a couple of months later, because a lot of people buy things once and then forget about them. I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at this personally. So yeah, go back if you've been in the group a few months and have a look at the stuff that you won in like November, December, because a lot of people will have bought it initially. Those 4 or 5 people who won the raffle with you, they now will have forgotten about it. So you could potentially have to listen to yourself. And I know a lot of people have had success with that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Cool. Do you have a limit on how many subscribers you will have?
So this is a question we get quite a lot on the Q&As.
Yes.
I mean, if you think about it from our point of view, is we are probably, not even probably, we are the only Amazon reselling group, that maybe even the only reselling group that is so strict on like not restocking. We haven't restocked since New Year's, and we don't plan to April. Like we like to make things exclusive, and we also like to make sure that we provide the best service for people who are in here. Now, we like to refine our service, and if we think we can add more people to it without knocking over the apple cart,
Hey.
knocking over the apple cart, then we obviously will. And yeah, I think it's beneficial to have like more people in here, gets people chatting, you know, people asking more questions. But there will of course be a time where we realize, right, this is the amount that's working well. We're on the verge of it not working well, and when that happens, then we'll just leave it, you know. But there is no set in stone limit. We very much like to think that we're taking it slow, and that's why we won't ever fuck it up.
Good answer.
Absolutely, and it's upset the apple cart. Sorry, mate, not tip
Oh.
over. Yeah, you're so close to being a normal human. There we go. So I think that's the end of our questions. Does anyone on? Oh, here we go. Owen's just popped up. Do you credit your VAs if they find a gem of a replenishable product that you're stocking month after month, or do you only do it from the initial lead? That's a good question.
So I only do it from the initial lead. Any replenishables, I actually give to Roy. I would credit them to Roy, because one, like, I got to pay the guy well, or he's just going to walk out the door, right? But also, a lot of his role is managing. So I want to be able to give him some sort of sourcing bonus, because he's a great sourcer, and that's how I mainly do it, is through the replenishables. And look, like 1 in 10 items I'll ever actually buy again in the replenishables. Like, obviously only buy replens, but by the time you're sold out, maybe only 1 in 10, at least for me, it's 1 in 10, are buyable again. So, you know, tracking that for 1 in 10 items doesn't really make that much sense to me.
Cool, fair play. Cool. So I think we're out of questions on the Zoom and the Discord. Does anyone live on the call have a question for Gage? Don't be shy.
Hi guys, I got a question. It wasn't for Gage specifically. It was for the London meetup. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to respond to the announcements. Work just been manic. I'm assuming it's still okay to pop up. Is there anything that I need to do prior?
Yeah, so we've had someone drop out that messaged me earlier or told me earlier. So yeah, you can take their spot.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Do I need to do? I don't know. Do I need to pay a fee or anything like that?
It's
No,
free, mate.
Yeah, it's all you need to do is just there is a section in the Discord server that is I think it's called Get Roles. It's a
Okay.
channel. You need to react to one of the specific emojis. There's instructions on that channel. Once you react to that, it opens up the separate channel that we have for this specific event, and then
Okay.
all of the announcements and all of the information is now in that channel.
All right, no problem.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've just put the link in the Q&A questions. So yeah, if you click on that to get to the Get Roles channel and then react with the party emoji, and yeah, only 33 people have reacted. So yeah, and I think we had 41 down. So yeah, it's the kind of thing where 40 people say they're going to come and 30 are probably going to turn up. So there'll be plenty of space if anyone on the call who is either new to the group or didn't put down initially they wanted to come. So I think we're in, was it Bounce Farringdon from 5, and then yeah, seeing where the night takes us via cocktail bar, and then to win/lose some money in Leicester Square at a casino in the evening.
That's it. Love it.
Someone hold me back. 2 days till the meetup, guys. It'll be really nice to put some Discord names to faces. So please show up if you can. Even if you don't want to show up for the whole night, come to Bounce, say hi, play some ping pong.
Yeah, you have to announce whenever you walk into the event. You have to announce your Discord name, otherwise we haven't got a clue who you are.
What I'm planning to do is do like a halo, and that has a Discord name above it, so we can all like be our little Discord selves.
Perfect. Would you ever do wholesale, Liam asks?
So we already buy from some wholesalers, but I'm not doing wholesale. I definitely think about it if the opportunity arose, but it almost go against the famous saying of wide not deep. So
Yeah.
I'd be shooting myself in the foot there.
It's difficult to do wholesale without going deep, to be honest. That's kind
Yeah.
of name of the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions from anyone?
Lovely.
No. Cool. Should we leave it there then? Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us. Thanks for listening back, and hope to see as many of you as possible on Saturday. Yeah, just drop us a message in ATA if you need the details firmed up. But yeah, hope to see a lot of you there.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Cool.
guys. Thanks all
Thank
for
you,
turning
guys.
up.
See you later.
Cheers.
See ya.
See you on Sat.